This is Unofficially Official. I'm Star Miller, and
I'm Mayor Mike.
we want to welcome you to our podcast where we fully intend to educate you on all things local.
Welcome back to Unofficially Official. I'm your hostess, Star Miller.
I'm Mayor Mike Pavey.
And I'm Kyle Gardner.
We've recorded this intro now.
I finally pick up my
Twice.
pace and then
Yeah,
Kyle.
that was good. You got on the beat there. Okay, but we don't have time to re-record this because I do have their appointment. So let's get back to these questions. In this episode, we're following up on some of the questions that we talked about the last episode. These are the two big ones. I'm not going to ask that one first because we had to start re-recording already because Mike couldn't get this out of. Okay, if we had unlimited money, I'm assuming we meaning the City of Rushville, what would we fix first?
Okay, so this is going to be a very aspirational and long term, but I would probably fix that.
Don't make eye contact with him while he says that.
Well, I mean, I think it's got to be, if you're looking for something to change and make drastic change in our community, it would probably be Highway 3. Because
Why? What does that mean?
it would be to improve it, because like right now, if the state does go to a toll road of 70, you're going to have a lot more traffic.
That's right.
If there is continuing to be construction on Highway 70, it is a link. So it naturally happens.
it's
So
busy
we're
right now.
ending up with a lot of traffic. And if we want to get people to feel like, hey, it's a place to move to where there's not a whole lot of congestion as far as on the main arteries, then you're going to have to make the improvements to those. I think that's important. Housing is always going to be a big one, I think.
What do you
Back
mean by
up.
that housing?
Back on your State Road 3.
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's what I was going to ask.
What's causing, the heavy trucks continuing going through Rushville and
Well, it's a variety of things. I mean, I think people that are going across 70 and they say, hey, by the way, I need to get down to Cincinnati. I'm not going to go all the way on 70 into 465 and then down. I'm going to find a route that's a shortcut. And so we're a shortcut to that. If you know anyone, and we've all been there, do I get on a toll road or do I get off? Well, a lot of people will jump off. The other thing is we have Honda that has its seat supplier in Newcastle and a bunch of suppliers in Ohio. They all come across and down. And then we've got our own firms here locally that do trucking, like Fraley and Schilling. We've got Intout. We've got
We're a
Diamond
rural
Pet Fairs.
community with farmers. There are some
we do.
farmers.
So
out there.
it's just the nature of what the world is right now, and I don't know that you're going to get away from it.
But in that, the city doesn't have any jurisdiction over that, right?
No.
Okay. You're just saying in a perfect world and with all the money in the world, you would do both.
Yeah, I think that's where I would start. I mean, like a lot of people would say, well, you go fix potholes, and that's a big one, or you repave alleys. I mean,
I feel like that's.
but those are
a
all
given.
very small
projects.
things. But I think that if you could solve that piece of it, you can get some more funding for your school. You can do some things, just in general, just continue to improve the quality of life for people out here. I think that we're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be a great option for those people who don't want to live in the hustle and bustle. And I think one of the things that's really cool here is, and I think it gets lost in the bigger communities. You'll hear people talk about, and I heard it this weekend about the McCordville blending into.
I always complain about that every time I see
blending
both.
into Fortville, blending into.
It's sad to me.
I think that Rushville and Connorsville.
I'm going to tell you right
all
now,
of
you
those
better say we're marked safe for you.
That were what?
That we're marked safe from that kind
Well,
of
I think you are, but I think it gives everybody out here much more of a sense of community. There is a much more of a feeling of
stay
family.
together, stick together, don't sell out,
ride and die.
right?
So I mean, I think that those are things that I think that.
Does that worry you personally, or do you
What's
see
that?
that as like how I always complain about? I mean, it's growth literally, but I just feel like it's eating up all of the countryside. That doesn't scare you living here?
No, I don't think that we're. I mean, I think there's the pluses. The glass half full, the glass half empty.
Mm-hmm.
The glass half full is the fact that we have an identity. We are
Prior to
and
we're not a bunch of scattered houses out in the. I mean, that's
Correct.
true. Yes.
The glass half empty says, hey, we're far enough away from Indianapolis that we're not commuting. But the reality of it is, and this is what you learn. My wife's lived in Fortville. She's from La Pelle. But what you quickly learn is to go from Lapel to Noblesville, it's still a jaunt. It's not like you walk out and you walk 2 feet and you're suddenly there. You just have to, it's just a different lifestyle. And like I say, I prefer our lifestyle. I prefer the fact that, if you go out and you walk outside of the city limits, you're not in Shelbyville. You're still in Rushville and you're in Rush County. And I like that. Where as opposed up there, you end up with, does Nancy live? Does she live in Noblesville? Does she live in Westfield? Well,
I can't. I don't.
And they all just really blend together. And I think there's obviously there's a convenience in a way to that. And there's a draw.
And also I think, just looking at history overall in of itself, there's times where people, where there's urban sprawl, and there's times where people are leaving the cities to go out to live in the country, and people that are going back to the cities to live.
Yeah, I think that, like I say, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But there for a while, we were like, oh my gosh, what's our future look like? And then COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, our future looked pretty good because everybody was like, I want to be remote.
Wholeheartedly.
I think right now, you hear a lot of people, you see a lot more people that work in downtown Indianapolis or in Cincinnati.
That drive home.
Because they say, I only have to be in the office 2 days now.
And also when I drive home, I want it to be peaceful and nice and not living in the city.
So I think that would be what, say housing and the traditional stuff we all work on, a better industry base, better education for the workforce. Those are all things that you
better
make
education for local school children.
Absolutely.
Those are good.
It's a broad range, and you could spend hours and days talking about that.
Okay, we're going to circle back to this first and last question of this podcast. What is actually changing in Rushville right now? Like, let's say the biggest thing, the thing that affects the most people overall.
Okay, so and that's all, and I'm going to.
Or you can categorize
my own rules.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing that's changing is attitude, and I think people now see that hey, you can do whatever you want to do from wherever you want to do it. So that's good because I think we've proven that what people thought might be harebrained ideas are actually legitimate. Yeah. So I think that's it. I think you're seeing right now probably your biggest push. I give Kyle credit. SS4A, which was the safety study on Highway 3, is completed. And I think it ended up about where we thought it would, which is as things change, it's going to have to change, and it can be anything from less significant to very significant, and we'll see. That's kind of a work in progress. Another thing we're doing, and it's starting to have a lot of impact, is housing. You've got North Washington Street, which is pretty. It's moving significant. How many lots?
It's about a third of the way full.
So it's about a third of the way full. We just did phase 2 and 3 of the boulders. The pavement's down on those. We just got an agreement signed on the villas for 48 more units in the villas. And so I think that
Do people support the housing going on developments?
I mean, support other.
Are there people? People that already live here. Are there like?
Well, I think that's I think that's not a trick question, but the reality of it is everybody says I don't want to grow and I don't want to change, but I don't want to lose this, and this, and so that growth helps you sustain the things that you think are unique about your community. So continuing, like say that housing, some of the housing. Some redevelopment of some properties, and it's into housing would be the Old Haven School in that area there, putting some money back in that neighborhood to try to revitalize it.
Where's the Haven School? I feel
Haven
like I know,
School
but is
would
it
be down by where the old senior citizens are.
Campbell's, kind of by us.
area.
Okay, yeah.
And,
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then
That's a really cool building.
The Graham School site will be redeveloped, and that should be starting later this year. You've got. We continue to make some infrastructure improvements. You got the Morgan Street Trail, which is about to 8th Street as we speak. We got West 5th Street, which is a total rebuild of 5th Street on the west side of town. Kyle, jump in here and help anytime.
Kyle just keeps typing words and then deleting them before we. No, I'm just kidding.
You got your another thing that the SS4A helped out on was. What they were talking about, they call it the Hawk. A lot of people will call it a Hawk, which is a pedestrian traffic light that Kyle in the library and the Love Community Center was instrumental and helping get.
And that one, working closely with NDOT, sometimes you always have to view them as a partner. You may not always agree on some of the things that happen, but there's a rhyme and reason behind it. And with this one, they knew that the crosswalk was very important to us, to our community. And they've shifted. They were able to move some funds around to push that up earlier.
That's great.
So we're looking at sometime probably in 27 or 28. Which is, it's still, we were talking earlier about, timing on some of this stuff, that it takes a long time. And just because of budget seasons, budget times. And, but they were able to push that forward. And that was just simply working with them. That wasn't fighting them and pushing or anything. It was just.
Are there municipalities that take that approach with NDOT? I would not.
No, yeah.
Why? I don't understand that out of the gate. Why your first choice?
Yeah, there are some who are very adversarial to NDOT and all those organizations. Another thing I think is different right now, and it's good, is I think the city and the county continue to try to find that working relationship that benefits. And I think that it's nice because right now I think the county is beginning to understand some of the things the city has done. You're looking at a transfer station that is getting ready to go under, start construction. You're talking about, what are some of the other programs? Well, Blight is one that's a Lilly program.
That's what I was going to ask you earlier, because I remember when the county just had, unsafe hearing board. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But the city really didn't have anything like that as far as.
The city hasn't. The city.
But they do. You do now.
Yeah, we have an unsafe hearing board. And we had a blight program years ago.
Right, yeah. That's
and then Lilly came out, and Lilly said, hey, we're wanting to eliminate blight and put better housing in. The county jumps on board. And so now the county is looking at what we did through basically the foundation, and they're doing kind of their own thing, but an offshoot of what we had done, and now we're coming back. And it's still
getting done, right?
Yeah. So I'd say I think that everybody's starting to understand how to work together as opposed to how to work against each other, and that's a good thing.
That's a real concept.
It will take more. I mean, there's still some major adjustments that we're going to have to make, but I think we can get there. I think we got good leadership.
Very optimistic mayor you are.
Thank you.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Kyle, anything to say before we go?
Nothing additional.
Wow, that wasn't very exciting, but thank you for listening.
That wraps up this episode of Unofficially Official. We thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, you can subscribe to our show on your streaming platform of choice.